Hey everybody, it's Luke and it's Sunday and welcome to F2 Real M. I hope you all had a lovely festive period, holiday season, New Year time, all of that stuff. And welcome to 2016. Happy 2016. Hope it's a good year for everyone. This week our topic is navigating the airport. And actually, since coming out as trans, I've flown a handful of times. My girlfriend used to live in America, so I went to visit her, I think, a couple of times. Yeah, twice, I think, since coming out as trans. And both of those times, I think I binded and packed in the airport, but then when I got through security, I, didn't for the flights, because they're, long flights, and it's not really recommended to bind for that long. One of them was just to New York, so, before I landed, I put my binder back on so that when I went back through security the other end, I was, feeling more comfortable. But while I was on the flight, I didn't bind. I was just, I don't want to, make my health suffer when no one's looking at you on plane anyway. And the other time I flew to Hawaii and I didn't bind for that flight either because it was 24 hours of traveling, obviously. But again, I did through airport security and on both ends, I think. And there was no issues at all with that. No one questioned it. And I went through the scanner things and nothing came up. So if you're worried about packing and binding when you've still got an F marker on your passport, the things it doesn't flag it. Or it didn't for me anyway, and I don't think it has for anyone that I've heard about. So that's good. And more recently, that was all pre-T, but more recently I've flown twice. I went to Florence with my girlfriend in November, and so I was 2 months on T. So my voice had dropped slightly, and slightly I was starting to be read as male by some people. But yeah, no problems with security, they don't care. I was packing and binding again, going through security, both ends. There was no issues leaving the UK, arriving in Italy, leaving Italy, or arriving in the UK. Nothing came up on the security things, nothing was flagged. But a couple of times in the airport, I was addressed as sir, so it's kind of odd. And I was using the men's bathroom and stuff, even though I have the female marker and stuff. So obviously I don't look enough of a boy for them to be excuse me, why is this say female? But when they're not looking at my passport, I look enough of a boy for them to be probably a boy. So that's an interesting time. And the longer I'm on T, the more I'm kind of a little bit concerned about how that'll progress if I don't change my name and my gender marker on my passport. But yeah, and then a little bit after that, I flew to Berlin with my best friend. Done a lot of airports this past year. And again, I packed and I binded through security. Once I got through security, I went into the men's bathroom. I took my binder off, and no one said anything, no one questioned me, nothing like that. And leaving the UK this time, we didn't really talk to anyone, so I don't think I was gendered by strangers. So, but obviously I was fine with my female passport again. But coming back into the country, we went through the security at Berlin, and everything was cool. Nothing came up. But then they called me over for a random drugs test and stuff. You know how they do in the airport when you're young and you look like you might be, I don't know, smuggling drugs. I don't know. It's supposed to be random, but I've been picked up for it for 12 times. So I don't think it's that random. Actually, I got picked up for it on both of those trips to Europe. Yeah, 2 weeks apart. But yeah, they called me over and they were excuse me, sir, can you come over here? And I was oh my God, what if they asked to look at my passport now? And I know it would have been fine because they would have just been oh, sorry, we meant ma'am, I'm so sorry. But I panicked because I was oh my God, this guy's addressed me as sir. I don't want it to be super awkward, but it wasn't. He scanned my bag and did my hands and was you're fine, sir, have a nice flight. And I was all right, thank you. So yeah, airports are kind of weird, but as far as I'm aware, they will just go by the gender that's on your passport. So even if you look a little bit more one way or the other, because in the UK you can change your gender marker like before you're on T or anything like that. They will go by that unless like something major comes up that they need to like question you on. But generally, airports, like, it's so quick. You're just going straight through. They don't really care that much as long as you're not posing an obvious threat to whatever their flight, their country. They're not going to be like, they're not going to call you out because they think your gender marker doesn't necessarily match who you are. And my kind of approach, definitely pre-teen still now, is just that I'm never going to see these people again. Like, I don't care what they think of me. I would prefer that they thought of me how I thought of myself. But, like, at the end of the day, I don't really care because I'm never, ever, ever going to see them again. And it doesn't matter and it doesn't affect me. If I don't let it affect me, then it won't affect me. So that's, like, my approach to being, well, basically having a female passport and therefore being read as female going through airports and stuff. Yeah, that's all. Basically, airports are weird, and I would like to change my passport and my name at some point soon, and it looks like that's going to be able to happen soon because all the stuff that was like stopping me seems to be coming to an end. So maybe before I travel next time, I will have changed my passport, and then I won't have to worry about this stuff. But I know that if I haven't, then I don't really need to worry because I I only really travel around like Western countries, so I guess there's less concern in that sense. But also, I'm always going to be able to like be like, oh yeah, I am female, I promise. If that absolutely has to happen, like if I suddenly sprout a massive beard and I'm flying on a female passport, I'm gonna like shave it off and like make sure that nothing is gonna raise suspicion, even though that is such a terrible concept because it shouldn't be something that is like an alert. But yeah, I will continue to pack and bind going through security. I don't really care. It makes me feel a lot more comfortable and it doesn't seem to cause any issues. So that's that. Yeah. Happy New Year again, and I'll catch you guys next week. Bye. Oh, where the hell is the stop button?